Hi, my name is Jay. Welcome to yet another episode of Snippet Thursday, only here at Jay&Jane Photography. If you're into photography and photo editing, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss any tutorial or episode where we conduct photo experiments and more. In this photo that we're going to edit, I accidentally cut off the tail of this goose because of the anticipation. I had to wait a few minutes for one of these to shake and capture the mist and droplets of water in mid-air. It's kind of hard to frame the shot because I didn't know which one of them was gonna shake next. I ended up cutting off its tail and went home with only this as the best photo of this action. So here's what I did to fix it. We're now here in Photoshop. Just open the file. You can use the content aware crop tool. Just hit the crop tool on the left side and make sure content aware is selected up on the top. Okay. Extend the picture to the left, and as you can see, it did a pretty nice job of extending the background, but some of the feathers have been replicated in an unnatural way. So we're going to fix it with the clone stamp tool. Here we created a new layer, and we're going to sample from the current layer and below. Select that on top and size your brush by right-clicking, selecting the size and the softness you need. I prefer a soft brush for clone stamping most of the time, unless you're going to replicate hard edges. We're going to erase the additional feathers that the content-aware crop tool generated. We don't have a lot of problems with the grass. Okay. As you can see, I'm trimming down some of the feathers, rearranging some blades of grass, trying to make everything look more natural. Okay. Now we end up erasing much of the additional feathers and just leaving a few strands right here, replicating the tip of the feathers with the clone stamp tool. And finally, zoom out, zoom back in to make sure everything looks natural and nothing sticks out. You can also replicate the droplets of water using the clone stamp tool. Okay, go in for a harder brush to replicate some additional blades to make the edges sharper. Finally, we ended up with an image like this. Here's the before, here's the after. Before, after. Here's our final image that you have seen in the thumbnail of this video. So here's the next photo we're going to experiment with. First of all, thank you, Miss Mary Rose Millar Banaag, for allowing me to use your photo for this episode. This photo has been posted at Photoville International on their Facebook page. If you're into photography, please be sure to visit this page at Photoville International on Facebook. Join the page and feel free to post the images that you please according to their guidelines. So it's one of her photos. As you can see, it's been framed with a cat on the left edge. For most people, I think it's not a problem, but if you want to follow the rule of thirds, you want the cat's eye or something important to hit the intersecting lines of the grid. One of these intersecting lines will fall on the cat's eye as we edit this photo. So as I did with the goose, I extended it using content-aware crop and clone stamped some blades of grass to replicate the natural look of its background. You can spend as much time as you want fixing the details, but basically that's easy to experiment with, so you can brush up your clone stamping skills. Just be aware of constant or repeating patterns that emerge with this tool. You can use other tools, but we're now focusing on the clone stamp tool and the content aware crop. As you can see, I am trying to replicate some parts of the blades of grass that were cut off, and we're going to copy and paste a flower as well using the clone stamp tool. So here's the flower. We're using the clone stamp. We're putting it on another layer just for safety, so we don't destructively edit the actual or the original image. Again, be aware of any repeating patterns. You can modify the flower, add some specks of dust or anything that will make it look different from the original. You can add additional blades of grass around it if you want. The whole process is actually fun. So if you enjoy manipulating your image this way, you're going to master clone stamping. Again, zoom in and zoom out a few times to make sure you're satisfied with it and nothing stands out as edited. Okay, we're just copying more blades of grass, and you can actually rotate the clone stamp brush by pressing and holding Ctrl, Alt, and pressing the comma and the period to rotate the clone stamp brush counterclockwise and clockwise respectively. So here's the final image. Okay, once again, thank you for lending me this image, Miss Mary Rose Millar Banaat. So there you have it. Thanks again for watching, and if you learned something from this video, please click the subscribe button now. Until next time!